stuck in a really difficult situation.
You
Yeah.
push yourself to do the things you're uncomfortable doing, because nothing good comes out of comfort zones.
It's
at
beautiful. Welcome to the show. I'm Michael Kuzilny. Got a great lady on the couch, just Natalie. We decided we're going to call her, but she's got a great life, and she's happy. She's exercising. She's meditating both morning and night time. But she just told me about these challenges she was married. A bloke had an affair. She got onto the drugs. Met another bloke, and then in 2018, big hostage situation where her partner stabbed her and tried to kill her. Wow. And amazing, you're still smiling.
Hi, Michael. Thank you for having me on the show. Yeah, I am still smiling. It's been, there's been a lot of pain and a lot of struggle, but a lot of gifts and amazing things on the way.
And when we wake up in the morning and we do the gratitude thing, you'd be thinking, oh, thank you, God, Joseph, your little son.
Oh,
he's
4.5. He's my saving grace.
Yeah.
Things would be a lot different if he wasn't in my life. I mean, when my marriage ended, I kind of thought Joseph was only 2 months old when I had to leave, because I just couldn't raise him in a relationship that was so toxic.
What happened in that relationship?
Well, we were high school sweethearts, and we got married. 10 years after we kind of got together, we lived together, and he was battling his own issues. Had an affair, and I left. In a nutshell, there was a lot of things leading up to that, but
difficult times, sweetheart.
Difficult times. And it was kind of, I didn't heal.
You didn't heal, and you also got onto the, I think, the drugs then, didn't you?
Yeah.
Because that's a coping mechanism, not to celebrate, but to...
Like I was saying earlier, anything external where I didn't have to look into me, anything that could give me a quick fix of happiness, I would take. But then,
Natalie, I could just imagine you're going through all this turmoil with the split up and the deceit. You've got your little Joseph, who's only a baby, and you're escaping through the drugs. So did you get any help from mum and dad?
Mum and dad are amazing. So I grew up in a traditional Maltese family. I was taught the right way, I was taught about, my values and my morals, and, I guess what's right and wrong. And I remember once, my dad said to me, I don't feel bad for any bad decisions you've made, because I taught you the right way in life, and they did. And I'm just so grateful that I've had their support. So many people don't have that, and I'm just so lucky that I have that, because it was... I was a gymnast my whole life. They supported me. Then after that, I worked really hard in my career. I worked in HR and recruitment my whole life. And
no, you are amazing. I want to ask you a question. I wanted to ask you before ice. When did you take it, and how come it's so addictive?
Well, I kind of dabbled in it from a really young age. I used party drugs. I used it as a party drug, and then I just found it.
Stuck with it.
Yeah, I got stuck with it. It just helped me. I thought I used it as a motivator to get through the really hard times.
Yeah.
I would not use it, then use it, not for years. I mean, didn't use it all through my pregnancy or anything like that, but it was just something I went to for comfort, and it ended up ruining me. So.
And anyone who's been on it, the people I represent in court or the people I interview, they say, look, even though it's sort of the shit at the fan at the end, there's always that beauty and the messiness of life. And of course, there's beauty. I suppose it's like most things. If it for too long, then it will mess with you.
Well, it does, and there's not enough people that, there's a real shame that comes with using. There is a real shame, and it is, I was a closet user. I would go about my everyday life. Nobody was...
Because we're such a judgmental society. It's, if we go through difficult times, it's hard to share with people.
It is, and I'm so happy that you asked me to share it.
Yeah, and I love that. I love authentic people. So many people wear their social masks, and it's this bullshit about, hey, how are you, and all this, and you're busy, and You know, Dr. Joe said before a number of depression, but I heard the other day that 76% of the population on the planet aren't happy with their lives because we're pretending, we're wearing the social mask.
Well, we are, and I really believe that. And it wasn't till so I've been admitted to psychiatric ward after psychiatric ward because I was so desperate to get help. But I was just then fed prescription drugs for depression, for anxiety.
Do they really? You know, I've been to, I've visited clients and friends at the Melbourne Clinic, but I've also visited friends and clients at the psych wards at the hospitals, and it just doesn't seem that they have enough time to
assess what's actually going on. And I heard you speak with Dr. Joe, you know, it's about taking the time to really get to the nut of what's going on. And I feel like it wasn't till I found a really good psychologist mixed with, you know, spirituality, yoga, meditation, that I really found. And it's confronting. It's confronting when you have to face you.
Yes.
You are your own worst enemy. And when you find out that fear is anxiety, you can take a step out and be, okay, I'm going to dance with this feeling. It's about dancing with your feeling, being connected to it and owning it. I own my trauma. It's made me who I am today.
So who are you?
I am a 35-year-old woman that is loving life, that I think I'm a great mum. I am the mum that I can be. I'm smarter for what I've been through, you know. I might not be completely book smart, but I'm life smart.
Oh, no, stuff the book smart. No, you're a great mum. You're a decent person.
And if I can, you know, just help one person out there by sharing my story, like that's all I want to do. And young women, you know, there's just, like you said, there's so much pressure to be this person. And don't get me wrong, I love to look good and I love to dress up and I love to do all those things, but I was a shell of a human before. You know,
you just sit there for a while. We'll have a break, and I'm very interested to hear about so many other things. We'll be back very shortly. The 28th of March 2018, Natalie was in a hostage situation for 5 hours. She was stabbed, and it was one of the most terrible times of her life, but she survived. What happened?
Wow. So, I didn't ever think I'd be talking about this on national TV, but my partner at the time went into psychosis. He had his own, you know, mental health issues. We were in a great relationship, and he went into psychosis one night and boarded up the house. There was weapons, there were knives, and you know, in his psychosis, he thought that I was the enemy, and he thought that I was going to do something to him. It was just crazy. It probably sounds crazy, but it's very real. And
mental health is very serious.
It's very real, and these things happen.
These things happen, sweetheart.
And you know, I'm just one of the lucky ones that got out of it.
Did you try to escape?
Yeah, I did. I tried to jump out the window.
What happened?
When I tried to jump out the window, I got stabbed in the arm.
Oh, when you tried to escape.
Yeah, so he didn't get any major arteries, but I was hospitalised for a few weeks.
God bless you,
after
darling.
That, and
it's a difficult thing to talk about. So when he stabbed you, how long after until police?
2 hours.
2 hours. So
my mum saved my life. Actually.
So you're with this bleeding, this really painful injury.
Yeah, he attacked police officers when they came to the house.
And what were you when this happened? Like I can always imagine, you've got this. You see it in the movies, you know, blokes sitting there with their stabbed or shot, you know, and but you're for 2 hours. Intense pain, or
I went into a state of shock, and I was out. I just remember opening my eyes a little bit, and I actually made my peace with, like, I thought I was going to die. I had my son's photo in my pocket. Through the course of the night, you know, I was made to do some horrible things, and I had my son's photo, And I just closed my eyes and I held on to it. And I just remember, because he kept coming in and out of psychosis, and he wrapped my arm up so it would stop bleeding. Because he didn't, like, he came out, went in, and it was horrible.
Would have been a horrible
It was
time.
I mean, when I talk about it, it's not that it didn't. It's shaped my life in so many different ways. This 5 hours on the 28th of March shaped my whole life forever.
Of course, Natalie, because it's not the soft times that
No.
make us more resilient. It's those
the hard,
difficult times,
it's the hard times, and I
to
hated myself.
And to have you
I
sitting
blame
here,
myself.
you know, in such a when you walked in, you're positive, and of course, talking about this is difficult, but you made it through, and I dare say you've got a big scar to.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, you're a tough one, aren't you?
I do. I'm a tough cookie, you know, and people have told me how resilient I am, but I never believed I was. But when I sit back now and I talk about things, and since I've taken ownership of the things, and I've taken ownership in the part I've played in a lot of things too, you know, I thank God, you know, I believe, you know, that there is something else out there that keeps us safe, because one too many times something horrible has happened to me, and, you know, horrible is probably an understatement, life-changing has happened to me, and, you know, I'm no different from anyone else. At all. These things happen.
You're being protected.
I'm just lucky enough to be in a position where I've been able to network with you and get on TV and actually be open about it.
Isn't it amazing when you get somebody so authentic, and it's like a breath of fresh air, isn't it? But because we're all going through something, aren't we? We're either stuck in a crisis, we've just come out of one, or we're just about to head into a new crisis. But the challenge of a strong human being is really how well we are at getting on top of crisis, you know, and you've done it over and over and again. And another thing I was going to say to you, Natalie, is that sometimes we jump into relationships too fast, because we're all an insecure bunch of people, aren't we?
Talking to the queen of insecurity. The queen of insecurity.
Well, we always think that other person's going to fulfill our lives and make us happy, when it's really just and really we're not healed. We haven't got that emotional balance. We haven't checked in with ourselves enough.
No, and it's, you know what did my psychologist called it something? It's like habitual suicide.
I think it's like an attractor energy.
Yeah, it's because you don't heal, you don't have any self-worth. You hate yourself, and I hated myself. So I was running on a whole bunch of bad things. So each relationship I had after that just brought more bad things. That's what I was attracting.
So a whole domino effect of
it is
domestic
a domino
violence
effect,
relationships.
Yeah. And until I walked away from that and said, okay, Nat, it's not them. It's you, and it's what you're manifesting, and it's what you're bringing. Wow. So it's not them, it was me. And although they weren't good people, I wasn't being a good person. I wasn't living in line with, you know, I wasn't being congruent with my.
You didn't set the boundaries.
Yeah, I didn't have any boundaries at all, and I was just, you know, attracting crap. And yeah, that's all I was doing, and I wasn't focusing on my child. Yeah, so that's my story.
Isn't that amazing? That's a beautiful story, and the benefits of meditation. It's amazing. And you're how long have you been doing that for now?
4 years.
4 years, and it's certainly a life change, isn't it?
I can't recommend it enough.
Yeah.
Even 5 minutes a day.
It's beautiful, and I've been doing it for many, many years now. And for me, I suppose it's peace of mind, emotional detachment, and just clarity. But we'll be back very shortly. We'll be back very shortly with the great lady. Natalie's on the couch. What an amazing lady. She's gone through so many difficult times in the last few years. A failed relationship. Then she was hostage and stabbed in 2018. And but then the balancing act. She's got a beautiful son, Joseph, who's 4. and she's happy.
I am happy.
She's happy.
I'm content, which is something I never thought I would say. You know, I've suffered with anxiety my whole life since I was a really young girl, always wanting just to be the best and be perfect, and you know,
And
just
always worried about the opinions of other people.
Always
Yeah.
worried about being judged. But
You got rid of that.
as I got older, I really started not to care about the judgment so much, but realized how badly I judged myself.
Yeah.
And I think we're all guilty of that at some stage, if not always. But through meditation and through, you know, what I've learned in rehab facilities I've been to, just really, I just own me.
Good, because there's only one of you.
There's only one of me.
That's beautiful.
And life is really, as cliche as it sounds, life is what you make it. And we're not always going to make good decisions. I mean, even though I'm happy and content, like I make bad decisions like on the daily sometimes, whether it's in regards to what I eat or it's in regards to, you know, which way I'm going to drive in the traffic, or, you know, just little things but they are just little things. And, you know, when the big things come up, it's, you know, you just deal with things, because tomorrow something good might happen. One day at a time. 24 hours at a time. 1 second at a time. I don't let life pass me by anymore.
And you know, if we don't go through any difficult times, then people just have breakdowns. But you've been through so much now that you know, any of the lesser stuff will just brush off.
Oh, it just brushes off. I just think I never used to think of it like that.
Yeah.
This has taken a lot of mental training.
You build up your mental resilience, your spiritual resilience.
You do, and they go hand in hand for me. You know, it's not a matter of if they work. I know my beliefs help me. And, you know, you could just believe in the sun or the sky, whatever gives you peace.
You're a very forgiving person, but I want to ask you a couple of questions. But going back to the siege situation, 2018, and when we go through something like this, do we then, is there hate? But I know the answer. For you, it's forgiveness.
There was hate. There was hate for a long time.
Yeah.
But forgiveness is what set me free.
Did you visit him in prison?
No. You never forget.
No.
You never forget, but for me, I needed to forgive because it kept me sick. I was wasting time. It was making me hard.
Yes.
The hate was making me hard, where I didn't look at myself in the mirror for 3 years, like properly, like besides to put on some makeup or do my hair, but I wouldn't. And it was a test that I had to do. I had to sit in, like, you know, my psychologist said, look at yourself. And that was hard. I couldn't cry.
And then one day
I let go and I cried, but I had the support around me that I never used. Like, I never used that support before.
Yeah, and that was family and friends and
my beautiful friends that have stood by me through all my, like, the darkest of days. You know,
isn't that beautiful?
I disconnected from everyone because I didn't want to bring anyone else down. But now, and when I say that, they're the people that rose me back up.
Isn't that beautiful, Natalie? And what's your advice? There's a lot of people struggling out there, and people in domestic violence relationship, or people just maybe wanting to get out of a domestic violence relationship, but they can't because they've got no money. What's your advice if you're stuck in a really difficult situation?
The services, you know, like Lifeline.
You've got to speak to people, don't you?
You got to, as much as you don't want to, push yourself to do the things you're uncomfortable doing, because nothing good comes out of comfort zones.
It's beautiful. You've done a lot of work on yourself.
That's all I can say, and it makes me emotional speaking about it because it's so true. You need to push yourself, and I know it's hard and it's scary, but it's your only way out. Baby steps sometimes.
It's beautiful.
There's got to be someone you trust. Put your kids in the car and get out of that house. Because there is, all you will create is more pain for you, more pain for your kids.
Yes.
If you don't, you need to do it for you first. If you can't do you and you can't love you, you cannot love another human.
Oh, that's so true.
It's so true.
It's so true, isn't it? Once you make friends with yourself, you'll never again be lonely. Once you make friends with yourself, you'll never again be lonely. It's so true. And the other thing I get from Natalie's answers is that you can't give out what you haven't got inside.
No.
You can't give out what you haven't. So sometimes we're around people and then we think, they don't really like me, but it's only the energy they're bringing out because
and it's if they don't like you, that's their business.
it's because they don't like themselves.
It's because they don't like themselves, and it's their business.
It's their business.
And you don't have to like everyone. You don't have to make everyone happy.
No.
You don't. And you know what? When you realize that, stress will go.
Stress will go.
Anxiety, I find, is less.
It's less.
I get anxious, and I hate it. I get sweaty palms, start fidgeting. But I just look at the things that make me happy, and it passes. When this too shall pass.
Oh, this too shall pass, Natalie. This is amazing.
So,
and you work in human resources. What does that mean?
So now it's so funny. It's amazing the way the universe works. I work for a company where they provide family services nationally. So I actually recruit case managers, social workers, therapists that help people like me.
Wow, it is amazing how the universe works because you've got that total experience. I always think everything you've done in the past, it all comes together.
You can't learn that stuff in a book.
No. Natalie P, it's been an amazing interview. Thanks for sharing. I learned a lot too.
So welcome. Thank you.
I'm always learning, but thank you so much for
I'm so
coming. God
grateful.
bless you, darling, and
Thank
keep on
you.
meditating. And God bless you. Keep
Thank
on meditating.
you.
We'll see you next week.
Thanks.
All the very best.